Talk to me about that price point. It feels like it's priced like a computer, but the attachable keyboard makes it feel like a tablet. Is this a tablet or a computer?
Well, it's a good question. Actually, a lot of the genesis of this foldable device was the customer research that we have done. And it basically said that you have a lot of customers that own an e-reader, that own a tablet, a PC, and a smartphone. They were looking for a way to consolidate all of those experiences. And so that really was part of the birth of the X1 Fold. And truly, from a price point standpoint, when you marry all those devices together, it adds up beyond that. And certainly, in terms of early adoption, look, OLED displays are still quite expensive. There's a lot of things in that will naturally, over time, depreciate and cost just a little bit. So, yeah, it might seem a little bit steep in the beginning, but we still think it's a bargain when you combine all those devices together. And I think over time, there's certainly room for that to come down.
And at that price point, what are you forecasting in terms of unit sales?
Well, that's a really good question. I think it's still a little bit early, but it will certainly be in the tens of thousands of units, even as early as launch. We already have a lot of pent-up customer demand, a lot of excitement. It surely is a Halo product. So really, what's important to us is that we get the experience right out of the chute, and then I think sales will naturally follow.
You've had a prototype of a 13-inch tablet, I believe, a year or two ago. The hardware has changed a lot since then. What have you done to improve the hardware?
Well, look, we've been at this for about 35 years, and there's a lot of things that we can do to drive innovation. And we really believe that gone are the days of judging a good product and innovation by speeds and feeds. It's much more about the experience that it delivers and if it has a positive impact on people's lives and ultimately bettering humanity. So really, we're less about the ingredients of the hardware and more so now focused on just the full experience that a new device delivers.
We're having a lot of conversations about the chip makers today. It was notable that you chose Intel. Some of our reporting, though, shows that it's a little bit slower than some of the others at a similar price point. Why Intel?
Why Intel? Look, Intel did a good job co-designing this with us, but to be very frank, they're very close partners, but we have multiple partners in the CPU space, including AMD and other ARM vendors. So for this particular architecture and the way that we had built it, Intel made the most sense at the time. Doesn't mean it will be that way forever. At the end of the day, it really is a way that we want to design a device that people want to buy with choice. And if choice merits itself in the future, then that's certainly a potential. But we're proud to have both vendors broadly positioned throughout an entire portfolio.
Were you impacted at all by the trade fight, and how do you see rhetoric, at least of a bit of a resolution, improving your business prospects?
Well, sure. The fact is we're showing 9 straight quarters of revenue growth. We're the biggest PC maker on the planet. In North America, we were the fastest PC business, the top 5 in 2018. We're the fastest growing again in 2019. Look, the fact is we do business in 180 markets around the world. We're very proud of our heritage and our culture. But the fact is we're very, very diverse on a global basis. And over 2/3 of our revenue actually comes from outside of China. We're well positioned for any of the dynamics that the trade war potentially brings to us. It's something we follow very, very closely. But we really are in a position where we can manage this very, very effectively.
Are you able to give us a number on the headwinds that are now tailwinds, given the resolution of at least phase 1?
Well, no, look, we honestly don't look at it from a market standpoint or headwinds relative to trade wars. I would just argue, look, we're the biggest PC maker on the planet. The market's on a global basis flat to slightly up, slightly down, depending on region. But for us in North America, we've showcased over 400 or 500 basis points of share growth over the last 2 years. And the fact is we're still number 3 from a PC standpoint. So regardless of headwinds or tailwinds, our product strategy is playing out beautifully, where we believe we have significant room to grow. And if you look at the Microsoft Windows refresh, we still think there's tens of millions of users out there that has still not migrated to Windows 10. So there's a lot of different things in the background that we think will continue to fuel the PC business, least of which is the fact that we have a lot of room to grow in the biggest market in the world, that is North America.
Well, I'm glad that you brought that up, because at least in the smartphone market, we talk about 2020 being a big year for a big upgrade cycle. Do you expect a similar upgrade cycle in the PC market in 2020?
We do. Again, our data suggests that we still have tens of millions of users that have not yet upgraded. That number is bigger than 20 million according to our latest collection of data. So, is the majority of the refresh cycle behind us? Potentially, but there's still a lot of units out there for conversion, and we're going to chase them as hard as we can.